Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky meets with President Bongbong Marcos Jr. on Monday, June 3, as the former thanked the Philippine president for the Philippines' support for Ukraine. Zelensky arrived unannounced and under heavy security in Manila late Sunday, June 2, after speaking over the weekend at the Shangri-La Defense Forum in Singapore. During the meeting, Zelensky thanked Marcos for the Philippine support of their plight, particularly Manila's condemnation of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Zelensky adds that Ukraine will open an embassy in Manila within the year. In response, Marcos says the Philippines will try to assist Ukraine in any way it can. According to two Filipino officials, Zelensky had planned but failed to meet with President Marcos on the sidelines of the annual defense gathering in Singapore and instead decided to fly to the Philippines to personally invite Marcos to attend a summit in Switzerland on the war in Ukraine. According to Zelensky, Russia, with the help of China, is trying to undermine the peace summit. Zelensky earlier said that China is helping Russia disrupt the peace summit by pressuring other countries and their leaders not to attend the talks. Both leaders spoke critically of China at the Defense Forum in Singapore, which was attended by top defense and government officials from around the world, including from Washington and Beijing. The China Coast Guard has been accused of seizing and dumping overboard food and other supplies meant for Filipino troops stationed at a remote outpost in Ayungin Shoal and allegedly obstructing a medical evacuation of ailing soldiers. According to a ranking military official who asked not to be named for not having authority to speak to the media, both incidents took place on May 19 when the Philippine Army performed an airdrop operation to bring the items to the BRP Sierra Madre, a dilapidated warship grounded in 1999 to protect Manila's claims to the shoal. The source said that in a third incident on May 24, the China Coast Guard used water cannons to drive away a Filipino fishing boat near the shoal. The Inquirer source makes the allegations hours after Chinese state media claimed that personnel on the Sierra Madre pointed guns at the China Coast Guard on the same day, May 19. In a social media post on Sunday, China's Central Television said at least two men were seen carrying guns on deck, pointing them in the direction of the China Coast Guard. The Philippine Navy, Philippine Coast Guard, and National Security Council, as well as the country's embassy in Beijing, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The Inquirer source also says the China Coast Guard deployed 4 rubber boats during the May 19 paradrop operation of a Philippine Navy aircraft to the Sierra Madre. The Chinese nationals grabbed some of the provisions, mostly food, and scattered them into the water, making sure they couldn't be consumed, but some of them took supplies for themselves, according to the source. The source further says that on the same day, 2 Chinese Coast Guard ships and 4 rubber boats also harassed a medical evacuation operation meant to provide medical assistance to soldiers who got sick. The source says one of the Chinese Coast Guard ships directly blasted its water cannon at the outboard motor toward one of the Philippine rubber boats. The engine guard of the Philippine boat was also damaged after a Chinese rubber boat rammed its rear. A non-military source with knowledge of the operations confirms the Chinese harassment, but his version slightly differed from the first source, saying the Chinese boats had tried to block the transfer of personnel between the Philippine Navy boats and a small Philippine Coast Guard watercraft. Ayungin is a low-tide elevation that lies within the Philippines' 370-kilometer exclusive economic zone, some 194 kilometers off Palawan province. The Sierra Madre hosts a small contingent of Filipino troops requiring regular rotation and resupply missions that have been on the receiving end of Chinese harassment. The DNA test that could have established the nationality of Alice Go is no longer feasible, according to Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. In an interview, Senator Gatchalian says that Lin Wenyi, the Chinese national believed to be the mother of the controversial Bamban Tarlac mayor, has already left the country. Gatchalian adds that Lin Wenyi and Guo's father, Jian Zhongguo, have the right to go back to China anytime since the two are Chinese nationals. Gatchalian previously suggested a DNA test to determine the relation between Guo and Lin Wenyi in light of the mayor's questioned citizenship. The senator said it is important to determine Guo's real nationality because it would prove or disprove her qualification to become mayor, in addition to other rights, and the veracity of the birth certificate she has presented. The mayor has claimed Filipino citizenship purportedly because her mother is Filipino. Go has repeatedly claimed to be the natural child of her father, Jianzhong Go, a Chinese citizen who later used Angelito Go as his Filipino name, and his mother, housekeeper, a certain Amelia Leal, who supposedly abandoned her as soon as she was born in 1986. Senator Risa Hontiveros also released documents to the media to illustrate Go's alleged ties to Lin Wenhee, including documents showing the latter was among the former's co-incorporators in several businesses. The mayor of Tarlac Town became the center of a Senate panel investigation after her name was found in several documents of a Philippine offshore gaming operator based in Bamban, Tarlac, which was raided in March for alleged human trafficking, among others.